Good morning. Welcome, welcome. First, I'd like to say thank you for hopping on our seventh webinar, Marketing Specific, Brokers Market Better. I'm Krish Dhokia, if you've not joined before. I apologize about my hair, so we have to start with a little humor because webinars can be pretty boring, but I'm really stoked and psyched and fired up about today's conversation around connecting your social media to your customer journey. Um, to start with, I'm going to age myself here because yesterday was my birthday, and I'm feeling pretty old. I'm doing a lot of laying and playing with my toddlers. But you guys all remember the day where you had to watch television to be marketed to, right? And that was we were always waiting, never really waiting for the commercials as much as we were watching maybe 90210 or Saved by the Bell or Dynasty Dallas or whatever it might be at primetime television, and you'd wait for those TV commercials. Well, likely not. You're just waiting for them to be over so you can get back to watching your show. Today, we live in a very different age where television is concerned. You can pay for streaming services without ads. You can fast forward through ads. And I think that the only time I actually wait for television ads and to be marketed to is maybe the Super Bowl, right? Because they have the coolest. So today, brands that do television or television ads are more or less, hoping that they can use those snippets for other digital placements with those ads. And it's more or less, hey, I had a Super Bowl ad, right? So looking at it from that perspective, that was, years past on how we were promoted to and marketed to. Today, consumers, your home buyers, are waiting to be marketed to and typically go out and search and find it themselves, right? So Google, people Google you, they find you, but let's not discount social media as these environments that have created searchability and more accurate search, if you will, right? If you search mortgage today on Google, number of ads, maybe some high SEO placement on Google, and we are typically Googling ourselves. Krish Dhokia, mortgage loan officer, and see if it comes up. But your consumers are not searching that way, right? They're searching those keywords, and I believe two webinars ago, I kind of talked a little bit about the keywords and the importance of keywords. But today, let's focus on social media as a searchable place where your consumers are coming to find you. So Facebook, let's pick on Facebook, for example. Facebook, you have a business page and you fill out your hours of operation to your business address to, the services that you provide, mortgage broker, hopefully you've selected that category, or a real estate agent if you're an agent on this call. And you're in this environment. It's never going to really populate any searches from, say, Bing or Google or another platform like, I don't know, TikTok, right? It's all Meta. Huge benefit, huge benefit. But social media is only part of the equation. And so what today we're going to talk about is connecting that social media to a true customer journey. Now, there's a lot of homework out there that showcases all these different types of customer journeys. We know in mortgage and real estate, the customer journey and the milestones in between can be pretty lengthy in some cases, right? If they're repairing credit or they're a first-time home buyer on the fence, there's all these different types of milestones, but we're going to talk about 6 today. But first, let's get into the core. What is a customer journey? So roll that beautiful beam footage. So real quick, this is what we're going to cover today. What is customer journey? Day 0 to day 0. The customer journey framework and milestones. This is the one I'm going to geek out on the most. The 4 C's of customer experience, and then creating superfans. So what is a customer journey? Well, it's a buzzword. Everyone says it in marketing. You've probably heard it because all of you are definitely marketers. But it offers the framework for you to understand how the customers, how your home buyers, your first time, second time home buyers or whatnot, refinance candidates are interacting with you and your company to achieve a goal, a specific goal. Our goal is to convert them. It covers from day one to conversion. So the minute they find out about you or find you on social media, all the way to funding, right, and beyond. But what's interesting, let's talk a little bit about the how they find you. Like we talked about, they search you on social media or whatever. There's a lot of different organic ways that your consumers or your referral sources are going to connect with you and find you, right? And it's not just, I mean, there are going to be some random opportunities where they just find you on social media and it's like, hey, I want to learn more about this person or what they do. But more than likely, say they go into Instagram and they follow, I don't know, Glenn Stearns, and they see that you're connected with Glenn Stearns, they're more than likely going to then click on to see who you are, right? Same example on TikTok. They see that you shared something or you follow something, and they're gonna try to, they're gonna find your way organically to you. So we have to understand there's two differences, right? There's a paid media component and an organic media component. We're going to talk a little bit more about organic. We're going to have some conversation around paid, but paid essentially is, hey, you put a Facebook post, Facebook ad out there to drive people to you, versus people are just finding you based on local connections and things like that, or word of mouth. So let's talk about day zero to day hero. I can't say that I coined it and came up with this. I've heard it in a number of different conversations with my counterparts in the industry, in marketing specifically, not just mortgage, but day zero to day hero. Day zero is they have your consumer or a referral source, depending on who you are, has zero awareness about you. They don't know you exist. Okay. And the rule of the universe is either you don't exist or you exist. So once you exist, you get into the hero side. But zero awareness, they don't know what you do. They don't know who you are. They don't know what services you provide or products and programs that you offer. They don't understand what you stand for. That's a weird place to be, but there's billions of people in the world that don't know who you are and what you do. We want to change that, right? We want to make them a hero. The hero is the end of that there's never an true ending to the customer journey, but that last milestone that we're going to cover, this is when they love you, right? This is when they advocate for you, they pay attention to you, they leave awesome reviews, they're super fans, they share word of mouth testimony to friends and family. And you all know that when you close a loan with a client and they just had an incredible experience, they just think the world of you, they are going to mention it to their friends and family. And if you've never heard Glenn Stearns, the CEO founder, talk about his story with this whole family that he did loans for, and they became friends and family, and they love each, like he just attended the mother who's the couple that he originally did the first loan with, her funeral recently. It was like his second mom. And so that's what you want to create, is this community. Many of you are super uber successful in your brokerages, in your real estate or mortgage business, because you've created that loyalty and that level of raving fans. So that's the hero. And so a lot of you are familiar with that part, but the zero part and everything in between is what we're going to cover today. And social media is just the entry point, that first milestone. Okay, so the customer journey framework and milestones. And I promised you I was going to geek out on this. There are a lot of customer journey frameworks available to you if you Google it today. But what I wanted to do is slim it down, make it more digestible, and make it more relevant to our industry, which is real estate mortgage, right? I think, again, they go both hand in hand, and the audience that listens to these webinars and the podcasts that we have are from all walks of, I guess, all components of our industry. So 6 milestones to the customer journey. Okay. And I wanted to do something really cool on this slide where, like, I say awareness and it just pops up, the whole thing, but I just wanted you to all see all six at the same time. And so again, there are six milestones here, and I'm going to explain each one. Please do take notes. We will share notes after this call when we share the webinar, as well as we'll be including it in the Brokers Market Better Facebook private group as well. So awareness is someone stumbles on your social media platform, right? Like I was mentioning earlier, maybe it's a YouTube video that you shared and they find you on social media. They don't know anything about you at this point, okay? So this is their first, interaction with you, the first impression of you. It's that curb appeal. They come to your social platform, and you've been sharing content, and they start learning about you. This is the awareness milestone, and all six of these are trackable in some form of metrics as well, right? So the awareness one specifically, they're coming in and you can see how many new visitors you got, how many new follows, likes, all of those types of things are already available in most of the social platforms, but specifically Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even TikTok, and I think Twitter as well. And you don't have to, it's not a paid service. You can go in within the app and learn more about your analytics and your metrics. Okay, milestone 2. So hopefully everyone, awareness is they don't know nothing about you. It's day 0. Consideration. This is a moment when they decide, based on your content, based on your videos, based on what you're projecting out there through digital social media, if you're cool, right? If they like what you have to say, what you have to offer. And again, it's not just, a client is not going to be mesmerized by your talk about FHA, VA, and rates, right? But it's that culmination of that content mix that you provide, right? Are you real? Are you human? And again, metrics helps you. This is the tweaking zone as well, right? If you're posting, hey, I'm going to start posting a recipe a week, or the newest restaurant in town, whatever, right? My market update, and you can start tracking your content again through those metrics that are free within those platforms to tweak. Say, oh, you know what? People really are not engaged with this. Let me either make it better or flip it out with something else. The consideration zone is you're going almost like on your first date at this point, right? The awareness one is when you just texting or met someone. It's like, hey, how you doing? Would you like to go on a date? Now they're on a date with you, okay? So consideration is number 2. Number 3 is purchase. Now, this is the longest milestone as far as on the timeline for us. Now, if you were a social media influencer and had a brand deal, okay, your purchase is probably going to be a lot faster. If you're selling a golf, a brand ambassador for a golf visor brand, and you've then created your own TikTok shop or a link for them to get a discount and you get a credit for it, whatever, that's a much shorter cycle. We have a much lengthier cycle than any other industry, right? Car shopping is easier, faster, and shorter than purchasing the home. It's not, I'm not talking about the 30 days to close or 5 days to close or clear to close or whatever. I'm not talking about that piece. It's the consideration to actually decide, because in the consideration zone, you're actually thinking you're cool. I'd like to work with this person, learn more what they're about, and take that next step. So maybe between that consideration and purchase is where the apply happens, right? And then your rate lock happens, and then but the funding part of this, from consideration to purchase, can be pretty extensive and far between. So, but that's your purchase, right? This could be, again, like applied, locked, funded. In the real estate world, this could be the listing appointment instead of the actual purchase, right? Could be that milestone. So that one's kind of interchangeable based on what you want to track at that moment, but it should be related to a transaction, okay? Number 4, experience. So again, we started at day zero with this whole social media thing. They came through social media or anything really, but social media. And you got the consideration, you got the purchase, but experienced people just drop off there. Now, you remember, many of you that have been in the mortgage business for some years, you will remember the most popular post-close campaign in the mortgage history. It should have the Hall of Fame, which is mortgage returns way back in the day. And it was all it was is a 5 or 10-year post-close. I bring up that example a lot because that was only about 10 years ago, it was the most popular thing to do. And while it's very important, it plays in part of that experience. It's the value to give opportunity to the folks that you've already done business with to grow with you and your brand. Okay. I think that the disservice is that we kind of set it and forget it, right? Like, okay, we closed, we went to the closing table, we signed on the, the ink is dry. We sent them a customer review, which is also part of the experience, but that's the value to yourself, not to them. Okay. Your content still needs to continue to engage. There are certain things that you could do. Previous loan officers that I've worked with on my own personal purchases have called me. I got a call for my birthday yesterday from someone that I closed a loan with 12 years ago. That was pretty special. I've changed email addresses since then. I've moved states and multiple homes since then. And I'm sure they've kept up with my personal information to, I think I get emails and letters and things like that. But she called me. She's in Georgia. I'm in Texas. And I thought that was super special, the experience, right? So it goes outside of just the social media content, but on social media, still engage with them, give them the opportunity to grow, which leads directly into expansion. This is where they, again, become customers. This is another milestone that, hey, was there a refi op? Are they prime candidates to purchase a second home or investment property? Or if you know that they're expand, like now they're 1099ers or something, or they're actually business owners, right? This is the expansion opportunity to serve more products. And again, this, blanket statement, this is much easier milestone, and all milestones on the customer journey mapping is easier when the sales cycle is shorter, right? There's a lot of entertaining that you have to do between the actual purchase and then the second product, right? Not everyone's going to be a prime candidate. You have to be able to continue to engage these people. It's never set it and forget it. They are your lifelong customers, right? Okay. Lastly, advocacy. This is the one we love, but this doesn't happen naturally. And maybe because it takes work, but advocacy could come up between 4 and 5, right? It could be after they've purchased and gotten some experience, they're leaving you reviews. But this is the point where they are so in love with you and what you do that they should be on the edge of their seats to see what you're going to post next, right? To see what you're going to do next and how you do it, and the other people that they help, that you continue to help, and they want to be part of that journey, that experience as well, because they receive such amazing experience with you. So they're at this point, they become your little army, right? Every client that you close with becomes your army. And again, it's not just on social media. There's other deliverables, right? Like emails and phone calls and texts and things like that. But this is the point where they are doing the marketing, a portion of your marketing for you, that guerrilla marketing, where they're telling the friends, they're telling the families all about you. You've become a part of their circle. It's pretty cool, right? I mean, back in the day, I guess mobsters, right? They had their own attorney. Well, this is like, part of their family, the consigliere or whatever they call them. I just watched godfather recently, and so that I don't know why that came up, but that's why probably. Um, but it's pretty cool to say, hey, I have a loan officer in my circle. I have a real estate agent in my circle, and that's not what a lot of people can comfortably say. So this is the advocacy part, and it does begin a part of it on social media. So back a couple of webinars ago, we talked about, hey, which social media platforms should you even use, right? Not all of them, whatever you can manage, but you need to be there because again, that environment is so exclusive to that platform. You're right. When you search, again, like I said, if you search, let's pick on someone, Megan Moore on Facebook and they find her there, it's not going to pull additional links from some other places, all in that kind of environment. Okay, so please do ask questions throughout the webinar. We'll try to answer them in real time or right at the end. But we want to move on to the next piece because this is all experience, right? We want to be able to take someone from your social media platform, entertain them, deliver them to your website, take them to the website, and once they're there, not everyone, you guys, are going to be ready to click on that apply now button. They're just not. Let's face it. So there's a considerable amount of drop off that happens there. So you have to entertain, right? Whether that's taking them to YouTube or ideally keeping them in that environment. They've got blogs to read or whatever. And one tidbit I did want to also mention is let's consider how many, if you're really super cool and awesome on social media and you're posting consistently and all of that stuff, are you driving them somewhere else? Because they're not doing business with you on Instagram, right? Or Facebook. On Instagram, do you have a link tree or your website link or whatever on that one little link that's provided on your profile? Because if not, then you're not driving them back to your environment and you want to keep them in your environment until they apply now. Same thing with real estate agents. Are you delivering them to you back to your website and showcasing the homes available in your, with IDX or whatever? You have to take them from, there's what, 20, 30 something odd social media platforms today. Are you posting in all these places and then taking them to your one centralized location where you own them? You're not competing against another mortgage broker. You're not competing against another loan officer or a real estate agent. That's your asset. So, that's the idea, right? You should have a link and UTM to measure or whatever. But let's talk about the 4 C's of customer experience, because this all boils down to the experience that you're providing to create just fandom, right? So 4 C's, there's a lot of C's, and I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of these, these lists and things, but these are the 4 things that I think that all of you, if you focused on, can be these rules that you can live by as you're creating content, as you are posting, as you are being intentful on the reason why you're even posting. And so if you want to roll that, okay. You want to create incredible customer digital experiences. These are the 4 things that I stand by. And I spelled community wrong, so community, sorry. But consistency, right? Be consistent. And if you read this all the way down, consistent communication, celebrating community. Okay, so be consistent. We've covered this in a previous webinar. Post not robotically, like, oh, I'm just going to post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But consistency in the mix up of your content, consistency on your mission, consistency on the your voice, right? Don't create a facade. Some people do, and it works well for them, but don't create a facade and then just pivot so quickly that they're like, hey, who is this person? They want you. They want the real you. Communication. It's like it's a no-brainer. You're communicating slash educating consumers and referral sources in many cases, right? And realtors might not understand non-QM, or your financial advisor might not understand non-QM either. So have these communication tactics to, not dumb it down, but drill down to the specific topics. And then, be verbal. I was reading an article here recently, is more and more people are just posting videos and TikToks and reels and with stories, just with music, the popular music. That's great because that does add some searchability functionality in these algorithms, but talk, right? And then, like, I was watching some TikTok the other day, and it was this car guy, right? And well, actually, yeah, no, it was the lawnmower guy, and he doesn't talk. He just, like, I love, like, the before and after of lawns for whatever reason. Very popular content on social media, and it's like the before and after, right? And it's just him mowing and weeding and whatever, making the whole landscape look amazing in like 30 seconds, 45 seconds. But it's always music. Then he recently had one where he actually talked. I'm like, whoa, the guy can speak, right? So communication is important, and weave it in. Doesn't always have to be the same thing. Celebrating. Are you celebrating your fundings, your milestones, that piece of that? It's truly what it says. Celebrate your people, celebrate your audience, celebrate your milestones on your platforms. Hey, we just hit 500 followers. This is amazing. Even though you might have competitors that have millions of followers, that's not the point. But any opportunity to celebrate. And this isn't, about not being or being humble. This is about celebrating wins, right? Because they want to celebrate with you. Celebrate your audience as well, right? You can celebrate through polls and all these other things, or like quizzes, right? If you're educating about the home buying process, you could do a little mini quiz on there and celebrate those people. It doesn't mean giving away gift cards. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating a level of experiencing of community, right? Or community, according to what I wrote out there. But community is the goal. From consistency, communication, and celebrating should lead to community. You're building your army, you're building your community, no matter where they are on the purchase process or on your customer journey map, right? Whether they're a day zero or day hero, you're creating the opportunity for everyone to jump right in and feel part of the content. Social media is such an incredible way to communicate these things and build that community. So those are my 4 C's. Lastly, but not least, if you are interested in creating super fans, okay, and I use that, or raving super fans, or customer experience. I have a friend who I interviewed on my very first podcast with, what's it called? The Krish Marketing Podcast, right? And she has a book out. It's available on Amazon. Her name is Brittany Hodak. You probably, if you've been to any big event, she's spoken at a lot of mortgage and real estate events over the past few years. In fact, for a short time, she was the chief experience officer at experience.com, formerly Social Survey. And but she's been a young entrepreneur. She's consulted with Dr. Pepper and Keurig, the United Nations. I mean, incredible story. She was on Shark Tank. She sold her first superfan business right after that Shark Tank episode at like 19 or 20 years old, something like that. So absolutely incredible story. She's worked with like ZZ Top and Kiss and all of these people, because it's all about creating fans, whether you're in the entertainment industry, whether you're a major brand like Dr. Pepper, whether you're in the mortgage business and asking for reviews. It's all about, and so it's a really easy read, incredible. And then if you go to Spotify also, you can listen to that first episode. She's a delight. She knows her stuff. And so if you want to geek out on how to create these experiences, and here's the truth. There's a lot of ideas out there. There's a lot of foundational things that you must do on social media and on your websites to create experiences. But there's also, and what she talks a lot about is how to I guess conversate and get the deal done as well. So I think that's really cool. Check it out. And then lastly, and I want to double check if we have any questions. Let's see. We don't. I'm bummed, but I will comb my hair next time. Okay. So join the Facebook group, Brokers Market Better Facebook group, and let's keep the conversation going there. And lastly, on that podcast that I mentioned, we just had Jared Glant, who is the president of is the president of Grant Cardone Enterprises, Grant Cardone's right-hand man. He gives a lot of nuggets on just marketing being part of that sales process. It doesn't end or start with marketing, but it is definitely part of that sales process. And they've had a lot of success over there with large events and things like that. So if you are in your local marketplace and you're sponsoring an event or hosting your own event, whether it's as small as a lunch and learn or as big as like a client appreciation, how to get people into your events. Are there any social media platforms you suggest over others? From Lauren Gadsden. Yes. I would say Meta as a whole with Facebook and Instagram are definitely covering multiple generations at this point, right? You've got baby boomers and millennials, still on Facebook, and you've got this younger generation on Instagram. Okay. So that's the benefit because Meta owns both. But for the sake of let's take a step back. Cambridge Analytica a couple of years ago during the election did put a good challenge and obstacle in front of real estate agents and mortgage professionals in the form of paid advertising. The ability to really target and create leads or valuable leads on Facebook have been kind of pushed away. But if you're starting out and you want to focus on social media, that is the best way because you can post on Instagram and it share on Facebook and vice versa, while they still have their own respective audiences. So to answer your question, Meta, I would suggest being your best place. Now, it also depends on who your client base is. Okay. So if you are a huge referral source model, and you want to go after agents, yeah, Facebook is definitely the place, but they're using it to advertise and market as well. So you may want to check it out on LinkedIn and create a professional connection there instead, right? I've gotten a lot of business, and I've never originated a day in my life, so I'm not, going to make this up, but from a professional marketing perspective, I have connected a lot more on LinkedIn than I could ever do on Facebook. So it really depends on what your model is. B2C, let's go with Meta. Hope that answers your question, Lauren. You're welcome. Okay, so again, please do ask questions in the Brokers Market Better Facebook group. Lead conversations. Bring your counterparts into the conversation as well. So if you have loan officers within your broker shop, just bring them. We want to continue the conversations there as well. This will be shared after this call, and again, forward it to people. Listen to the Brittany Hodak podcast. Go Google her, connect with her. She actually just started her own Creating Superfans podcast, which is I've been listening to it. It's pretty darn good. So happy Wednesday, happy April 3rd, and we will see you guys on webinar 8.